If you don't have a work from home job yet, and if you're a pioneer in the online businesses and online remote jobs, then this list of not so obvious and not yet oversaturated remote jobs will help you to find your direction and apply for a similar position. Work from home jobs have become extremely popular these days, and if you consider yourself a go-getter and if you consider to be a self-organized person, a strongly self-organized person, then remote jobs might be for you. From customer support representatives and social media managers to video editors and sales managers, work from home jobs allow people to earn a living from anywhere. But first, let's define what type of work from home jobs there are. There are typically two types: those that require some extra specific skills to start working, and those that don't require any specific skills to start. And since this video is geared to the second type, we'll start with the list. And the first one among the list is test proctor, and the approximate earnings here are about $12 per hour. And similar to in-person proctor, you will be responsible for first checking students' ID, and so that students don't cheat during the exams, and yes, and overall maintain the integrity of the exam. This is usually typically done via webcam, so it's extremely important that you have a good internet connection and that you have a good at least headset in order to hear the student well, and of course in order to see them well. Now, the second profession, the remote profession, is call center agent, and as much as we hate answering the phone and making calls, it's still a validated profession, and you can make as much as 30 to 40,000 per year. Remote center agents do everything that they might do in an office job, in a typical office job, like telemarketing, sales, customer support, customer representatives, technical support, and so on. You may have to take incoming calls or make outgoing calls depending on the nature of the job. So if you hate calling people, you may take an incoming calls job, and some companies prefer taking call center people with some sort of experience in the job. But some companies also provide the training, so typically they actually take people without experience. Like in my local telecommunication company, we took students who did the telemarketing job. So even if you don't have experience in being a call center agent, here's your go-to thing if you want to start a validate work at home career. Now, the third work from home job you might consider is Amazon remote employee. Now, there's a number of ways how you can make money with Amazon, but if you want to apply at their full-time or part-time or hourly based employee, you should visit their page, a virtual location on their recruitment page, where they hire new applicants for their positions, and pick up from there. And the jobs vary in a number of ways. It may start from data entry and all the way up to supply manager, and of course it's customer support, it's technical support, and all the regular work from home jobs. And the salaries here differ if it's an hourly based position or if it's a part-time position or a full-time position. So the earnings differ somewhere from $10 per hour and all the way up to 15,000 per year. So it's up to you whichever you choose, but choose carefully because the responsibilities that you will have to perform, they are listed on their job page, on the virtual locations page. So make sure to check it out, and I'm sure that you will find some of the positions that might be to your liking. Now, the fourth position is search engine evaluator, meaning that you will have to check the results of search engines such as Google, Yahoo, Bing, and the Russian search engine Yandex if you're from Russia. And in this position you can expect to receive up to 37,000 per year. Of course, web research skills, analytical skills, and communication skills are extremely important for this position, but in this position you are expected to work as much as 35 hours per week, meaning that it's almost a full-time position, or a full-time position in some cases. And typically you will have to pass an exam before you will be able to work in this position. And by the way, about 10 years ago I've applied for a similar position as a search engine evaluator. It was called differently, but nonetheless. And I had to check the results of the search engine, and I had to to also make sure that all the companies that arise in the search on the search page have the right contact details. And to that position I had to pass 3 interviews, and one was interview geared at checking my analytical skills, like solving logical tasks, like real logical tasks, which you might expect or a programmer at a programmer's interview. And the second interview was an overall interview with the manager, and the third one was a test task. So I passed 3 interviews and I got the position, but I didn't take it. I took another job offer, but nonetheless I passed this interview. And let me assure you that this is an extremely well-paid and calm, I would say, and if you are an introvert who has good analytical skills and who is very scrupulous and very accurate, then this position is for you. The 5th position out of the list is customer service representative, and the expected earnings on this position are about 28,000 per year. And similar to customer support and call center agents, you will have to deal with the mostly incoming requests from the customers, and you will have to deal with all sorts of issues. And not only that, you will have to, in some positions and some companies, ask you to do the surveys and ask for the feedback from the customers for whatever reason. And yes, this is what you will do in this position. And similar to call center agents, again, there are part-time and full-time positions. There are no hourly based opportunities, I must say, but mostly this is a full-time position, and you will have to work shifts, because typically customer support work 24 hours a day, and which means that customer service representatives work in shifts, so that to cover all the time zones for all the customers. And yes, so be prepared for work schedule that might not be a typical 9 to 5, but for most people it works even better, because you will be able to dedicate your daytime to something else. Now, rolling back to the first type of work from home jobs, which are skill specific, I have talked about these types of jobs like several times already on this channel, so you may check out that video of mine and this video of mine and that video of mine and also that video of mine. So those are skill specific, and those are IT skill specific. If you want to learn more about IT jobs that could be performed from home, make sure to check out my ultimate guide on IT professions. Download it below, the link will be in the description. And today I wanted to mention a couple more skill-specific professions that become extremely important now with the pandemic and all of this thing. So, and these are medical-related professions. Now, you don't have to be a doctor, of course. If you are a doctor, nowadays, again, many doctors move to remote jobs. But there are also positions that might not require a medical degree from you, and that is, for example, medical coder, meaning that you are responsible for checking patients' records, checking patients' exams and examinations, and putting down the data carefully. And the earnings for this position, they are relatively high. They are about 60,000 per year. However, to that position, of course, you will have to go through a training, which might be received in the form of one-to-one person training or online training. And of course, you will, more often than not, I presume in most cases or in all cases, you will have to get some sort of certificate that will help you to land an entry-level job. But this one can be performed without a medical degree. So with an online training and with a certificate, you can apply for entry-level position as a medical coder. And yes, you will be dealing with patients' records and with all sorts of patients' data. And of course, the NDA will have to be signed. And with the rise of telemedicine, due to the recent events, such positions as virtual nurse and telemedicine positions are being opened all the time, but to that end you will have to have a nursing degree, and then you will be able to consult patients online, and you will be able to ask typical questions that doctors ask, and then you will pass that information to the doctors, and then you will advise patients online. But to that end you will have to have nursing position, nursing degree, and this is not something you can do overnight. Now, an important question: where where do you get these type of work from home jobs, and where are you overall? Where do you find a work from home job? Now, finding a remote job is pretty much similar to finding a traditional 9-to-5 job or a traditional job, and that is, so the first source of you looking for a remote job would be going to job boards and websites, working websites where there are remote positions as well as office-based positions. And you might check out such resources as LinkedIn, Glassdoor, FlexJobs, and other. I have talked about different sites where you can get these jobs in that video of mine, so you may make sure to check out the list of those websites in the description to that video. And also you might sort on those job boards, you might sort the wanted jobs not only by job role but also by a location, if that is important to you, and by job type, for example, be it a part-time job or full-time job or hourly based job, and so on. And freelancers, those who want to work project-based and hourly-based, they might check out freelancing websites such as Upwork, Fiverr, and other. Again, I have talked about these websites. And make sure that you create, if you want to act as a freelancer, make sure you create a profile that matches the employer's expectations from you. So don't list all of your experiences in your profile, list only relevant experience relevant to the position. Another source of getting a remote job is going to the company's websites. If you already know which companies you would like to work for, then go to their job pages and apply for remote positions if there are any. And I have actually done it this way, but the response from these applications is expectedly lower than if you go and apply at the job openings at the job boards. And last but not least, way of how you can get a remote job, work from home job, is by networking. And again, network is the king of everything, of business contacts, of working contacts, of any contacts. You may use even your personal contacts. If you know someone who is, for example, an HR manager or a recruiter, ask them to find, maybe they heard about some openings that you might not have heard. So do turn to your personal acquaintances if it will help you to land your work from home job. And of course, networking events are something that you might want to attend, and there are such things as remote online summits, and there are places, there are forums, and there are Telegram chats, and there are Facebook groups where you can find work from home jobs. So make sure to network as much as possible to just be on track of what work from home professions there are and what work from home professions are available to you and in your local area. Now, if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to give me a thumbs up so that more people could see this video. It will help me to grow on YouTube. Make sure to subscribe and click the bell icon to be the first to watch my new episodes, and I will see you next Wednesday. Have a great week, have a great mood, and see you next week. Bye!